Welcome to my channel. In this topic I will talk about what's new for 25 or 2025 quarter 1 or quarter A. I will talk about finance and supply chain, so you will be aware about new features enabled, new issues or old issues resolved or solutions. So by the end you have either contact your business users and show them these new features and check whether these features is matching with their requirement or not, or you have also to check if you have any old issues still not resolved, maybe resolved through these new features. So let's start first by first part here will be regarding finance modules. First one is payables invoice processing, that IDR as intelligent document recognition learning for supplier corrections. IDR can now compare similarity of invoice, enabling adaptive learning for supplier corrections. Making supplier corrections to incomplete invoices teaches IDR to recognize correct supplier for subsequent invoices. IDR compares text, layout, supplier logo from invoices to identify and match a supplier's invoice template. What the business benefits includes increased efficiency by improving supplier recognition accuracy and reducing manual corrections, improve adaptive learning accuracy on all other invoices fields. Steps to enables: create SR, requesting to set tenant settings, use AI for supplier to true. SR meaning service request with Oracle, and requesting use AI for supplier. Once you raise SR, Oracle know that which feature you are going to implement. They will help you to enabling this feature. Next thing or next features: lease liability for foreign currency migrated lease. Account for lease liability using current foreign currency conversion rate when migrating foreign currency denominated leases. Leases may enter into lease with lease payment denominated in a currency different from ledger currency. So we have two currency in this case: currency for ledger currency or another, or a foreign currency for leasing. Making lease payment denominated in foreign currency is monetary liability that must be recalculated each reporting period at the current of foreign currency conversion rate, with any changes recognized in the income statement. Lease liability for foreign currency is accounted in ledger currency using currency conversion rates as of the amortization start date instead of historical right of use asset conversion rate. If we check the business benefits include enhanced compliance with lease accounting standard for foreign currency denominated leases, improve operational efficiency with streamlined accounting when migrating existing portfolios. Steps to enables: you have to use opt-in user interface to enable these features. Access requirement: you don't need any new rule or privilege to access to set up and use these features. These features to enable you to use a foreign currency which is not like ledger currency. Third one, lease amortization schedules extracts. Extract lease amortization and the payment schedule for expense and revenue leases. Lease schedule extract help lease managers and accountants create reports to meet financial and disclosure requirements. Extract expense lease schedules process extract amortization schedule for lease liabilities and right of use assets, together with periodic interest expense, amortization expense, rental expense, and the payment for expense leases. Extract revenue also lease schedule process extract amortization schedule for lease and non-lease revenue, accrued asset balances, and the payment for revenue leases. As you know here that to extract the lease schedule, you have to select extract expense lease schedule or extract revenue lease schedule from this side panel to extract lease schedules for expense and revenue leases. In the action of the parameters, extract schedules for full, the purchase and re-extract schedules for all leases. Extract schedules incremental, purge and re-extract schedule for leases that were booked or amended since last extract run. Purge schedules, like you can also purge previously extracted schedules, complete the remaining parameter according to your requirement and submit the process. Business benefits of lease amortizing schedule extract: simplify compliance with IFRS 16, ASC 842, Japanese JAP period end reporting, enables user also to create custom reports. Steps to enables: you have to also use the opt-in user interface to enable these features. Access requirement: you don't need any rule or privileged access to set up and use this feature. What else we have? Account code combination import for lease payment and options. Create and update account code combination for lease payment and options using FBDI as a file-based data import. This feature removes the need for manual intervention to update account code combinations during lease creation and amendment. Input account code combination for lease payment and options using payment or options accounts tab on XLM template for the following file-based data import process: either expense lease contract import, expense lease contract amendment import, revenue lease contract import, revenue lease contract amendment import. What is the business benefits? Reduce implementation time, increase return on investment with the ability to import account code combinations when migrating existing lease portfolios. Reduce data entry effort by importing lease amendment to update account code combinations across multiple lease contracts. Steps to enables: again, you don't need to do anything to enable these features. Access requirement: you don't need to any rule or privilege access to set up and use this feature. What else we have? Lease name update in lease amendment. Amendment lease contract to update lease name. Performing a non-financial amendment to update the lease name entails creating an updated version of the contract and maintaining an audit of the changes with no adjustment to accounted transactions and balances. To amend leases to update lease name: initiate a cash action to amend the lease, select subtype of amendment as edit, non-financial data. In the lease details page, enter the new lease name, validate and activate the amendment. Alternatively, use the lease amendment import utility to improve a patch of lease amendment directly into the desired status, either draft, validated, complete, or booked. As you see these for screenshots, scrap amendment or amending a lease to update the lease name. Create amendment page. Also you can overview to update the lease name, and also lease details update page. What's the business benefit here of lease name updated? Improve operational efficiency with streamlined amendment to update lease name. Improve controls with a complete audit history of lease amendment and access to prior lease versions. Steps to enable. You don't need to do anything to enable this feature, and you don't need any new rule or privileged access to set up and use these features. But you have to ensure that the current version of your system is 25A. What's the next here? Cash receipt. Now we are in AR. Cash receipt descriptive flex field upload using create receipts ADFDI. Use create receipts using spreadsheet ADFDI to upload descriptive flex field values as DFF for cash receipts. ADFDI upload process reduce the manual effort needed to enter and update DFF values after receipt creation. Organizations often have requirement to store additional information related to cash receipts. Use the DFF values to enter additional information for tracking, reporting, counting, and storing cash receipt details. Cash receipts using spreadsheets ADFDI template include new column context values and attribute. Also, descriptive flex field, you have to click on context and cell to open additional information window. Window displays segments of AR underscore interim underscore cash underscore receipts DFF. Enter the value you want in each descriptive flex field segment and click OK. What is the steps to enable? You don't need to do anything to enable these features. Tips and consideration. Set up the same descriptive flex field structure for both AR cash receipts, AR interim cash receipts. If you import a receipt with more than one row, only the descriptive DFF entered in the first row are used. Access requirement. Account receivable manager, account receivable specialist, receivable manager segregated rule, account receivables specialist segregated rule. Again, you have to ensure that the application version is 25A. Organization. Specific rate type to generate accounted amounted for batch-based intercompany transactions. Generated account amount in the ledger currency using a currency conversion rate type specific to an intercompany organization when batch-based intercompany transactions are transferred to general ledger or receivables and payable for IR or intercompany invoicing. This supports using country or region specific rate type to conform to respective treasury and regularity jurisdiction policies. When an intercompany transaction is transferred to GL or receivable and payables, system will use the rate types for the conversion in the following order of precedence. System options first, transaction type, user defined rate type for intercompany batch, organization specific rate defined for intercompany organization. Use intercompany organization setup page to define organization specific rate type in the below example. That in this rate type is defined only for example, as you see here, this is our organization, blah blah blah, and here the conversion rate type is defined only for Singapore intercompany organization due to country specific requirement. Also, intercompany organization setup UI at the user interface. Appropriate rate type that determined during transfer process for provider, receiver, and organization respectively are displayed at the distribution details of intercompany transaction page. Steps to enable. use the opt-in as a user interface to enable these features for the offering of financial. What's the access requirement? You don't need any privilege to use this feature. Automatic adjustment to underpayment during lockbox processing. Set up lockup or lockbox processing to create adjustment entries for underpaid receipts. Organizations often receive receipts amounts that are less than customer invoice open balance, for example due to bank charges, other similar fees. The setup for automatic adjustment using a tolerance limit amount together with a match payment with invoice, auto cash rule and receipt application exception rule for underpayment. After completing the required setup, Lockbox will attempt to find an invoice for application in this order. Find exact match between receipt amount, invoice amount. If an exact match cannot be found, Lockbox look for a match between sum of the receipt amount and the auto cash tolerance limit amount and an invoice amount. If these amounts match, Lockbox try to apply the sum of the receipt amount plus tolerance limit to the invoice with the lowest value. If there are two more invoices with the same amount, Lockbox applies the receipt to the invoice with the oldest due date. Benefits or business benefits: eliminate the need for post-processing manual adjustment, eliminates the need for manual application of underpaid cash receipts, eliminates the need for creation of manual adjustment after receipt application to close the invoice. Steps to enable: to set up for automatic adjustment to underpayment during Lockbox processing, you have to complete these steps. Create auto cash rule set for automatic adjustment, create receipt application exception rule for underpayment, update receivables system option for automatic adjustment, update customer side profile with the tolerance amount and the adjustment reason. As you see here that create auto cash rule set, you have to use auto cache rule set page to create an auto cache rule for automatic adjustment. In the open balance calculation, you have to select discount field to none. In open balance calculations, you have to select or enable include application tolerance amount. In rule sections, you have enter the sequence number, select match payment with invoice. For auto cash rule with include application tolerance amount enabled, you have to create receipt application exception rule. Use this create receipt application exception rule page to create receipt application exception for underpayment. Enter these settings that in the condition name you have to enter underpayment less than. In the amount column, enter the amount values same as tolerance limit. In the percentage column, enter 100, and in the action, enter adjustment. Receipt application update receivable system option. Use the edit system options page for applicable business unit to enter auto cash rule and receipt application exception rule details and the application tolerance amount. Again, in the billing and revenue tab, you have to enter exception rule adjustment, select the adjustment, and in the exception rule adjustment reason, you have to select charges. For cash processing, you have in the auto cash rule set field, select auto cash rule that you created in the step 1 for automatic adjustment. In the application exceptions also, you have to enter the receipt application exception rule that you created in step 2 for underpayment. In the auto cash rule set or tolerance amount, you have to enter 100, the same amount that you entered in the amount column for the receipt application exception rule. The last setup steps is customer profile. that use edit profile page to update customer account side profile with the exceptions rule and the tolerance amount and adjustment reason. In the receipt matching section of the profile tab, in the auto cash rule set field, select auto cash rule set that you would created in step 1. In the receipt matching sections of the profile tab, in the application exception rule set field, select receipt application exceptions, again that you created in step 2. Invoicing section of the profile tab, in the exception rule adjustment reason, you have to select charges. In the currency of setting section of the late charges tab, you have to enter 100 in the auto cash tolerance amount field. This is also the edit field or edit adjustment or edit profile of the customers. You have to also to select currencies, either minimum receipt amount, credit limit, a minimum during amount, minimum during invoice amount, and here auto cash row tolerance amount, the same amount you created before. Access requirement, account receivable manager, account receivable specialist, receivable manager segregated rule, and receivable specialist segregated rule. This is the first part of finance modules. Again, you have to display or discuss with users business requirement regarding these new features, either they needed or not. Once they selected one of them or all of them or some of them, you have first to deploy it in test clone and check everything is okay and meet their requirement. After that, you have to redeploy them in production. Thanks for watching. Good luck.